Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namah. Today we shall have a session of meditation as prescribed in the schools of Advaita Vedanta and also in some Zen Buddhistic schools. Across traditions, we find such meditations in various names, such as Vipassana and self-enquiry, or just sitting. Those aspirants who follow the Bhakti Marga need to do their spiritual practices nirjane and gopane, as Sri Ramakrishna would put it. Nirjane in Bangla means ekant, alone, in solitude, and gopane, in secret. So such a meditation is not in the purview of this kind of a video-based session. It is more intimate, and it is between you and God, no third party in between. In the poll yesterday, I found that most of you have asked for guided meditation apart from Maharaj's videos. So that is why we shall now have a session of meditation purely based on Jnana Marga, or that of enquiry. It is also a combination of, as I said before, Zen practice so we are not just going to talk, we are not just going to inquire, we are also going to pay attention. So it is not an intellectual process, but something more is happening. You might have noticed already that the rate at which I am speaking is slow. Two reasons. One is, when you yourself are sitting in meditation, it is difficult for processing thoughts into words. It is difficult to process thoughts continuously. Your mind kind of settles down. Second, you can notice the gaps between the thoughts and recognize that we have both form and formless right here, right now. The words are the forms, and that goes into your ears and into your mind and form thoughts. So do not pay much attention to the words. They are just pointers. They point to something beyond themselves. And that something beyond is your true being. We are not trying to be a reductionist or oversimplify things, but as Swami Yatishwaranandaji would put it, we miss the reality every minute 1,000 times. He said something like that. So what is it that we are missing? It is the base. It is the base, it is the substratum, or it is the source, or it is like the sky in which these clouds of thoughts come and go. Including your personality, everything is projected, but you are behind that projection, almost like a cinema screen. You are the screen in which this drama is going on. So we will try to recognize that while we are sitting right now, not in some future moment. Somebody was recommending in the comment section that we should do a 2 hours meditation session. At the end of this video, or as soon as you see it, you will know how long this is going to last. But right now, I do not have any idea how long this is going to last. Because the sense of time can be an obstacle. Your mind can play different kinds of tricks. So when you say that, okay, I'm going to sit for 1 hour, the mind will suppress all your vrittis and stay quiet, as if you are becoming more and more spiritual. It could help to a certain extent, but all those vrittis will come back once you get out of your meditative session. So any kind of pre-planned situation can be a hindrance. That is why Swami Akhandanandaji, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, used to say, do not watch the clock while you meditate. And why so much against time? So much of why we should be so much antagonistic? Because time and thoughts are closely related. The sense of time that we have while we sit is possible only so long as we have thoughts. Time is the stamp of duality. That is why the reality is, the scriptures say, and the sages who have realized tell us that it is beyond time and space. Desha, Kala, Atita. So any type of attainments or achievements, if we plan in our mind as achievable in the future, we are already creating time. Now this may be confusing to a person who is not exposed to such teachings. What we are referring to is not the physical time. Corresponding to the physical time, there is a sense of time in our mind. The psychological time. And this entire sense of Maya, or this world in our mind conjured up by thoughts, has its basis in time. So it helps to sit straight, because if your spine and your neck and your head is erect, it would help in being attentive. And we are not trying to be attentive of something, but being the attention itself. Now thoughts would come back and say, what does that even mean? So recognize it as just another thought, and do not encourage or discourage, because you are like the sky, observing without any reaction or response. In one sense, we can say we are recognizing the fact that we are always in the present moment. When the future comes, it comes into this present moment. When you think about the past or future, it is all happening in this now. So this present moment can be the gateway to eternity. Once we sit straight, try to relax into this present moment. Thoughts will come and will go and will go. No thoughts are going to stay forever. But recognize yourself as the space in which thoughts and this video, the speaker's voice, is all coming and going. You are that space. If you are driving or if you are engaged in some other occupation, it is better that you pause this video and watch it when you are completely disengaged, or when you are available for yourself, because this is something precious and it requires your full attention to sense something beyond the words, where the words are pointing. As the scriptures say, Arundhati Nyaya, like if you want to show the star, you point first to the branch, and through that you point to some other nearby object to guide the vision of the seer. But it is the seer who has to look. As Shankaracharya puts it, no matter how beautifully you describe the moon to a person, unless he beholds it himself, he cannot appreciate it fully. So all the scriptures and these guided meditation sessions point or can inspire us to look, but we have to look for ourselves and recognize that what we call ourselves, the person or the personality, we have to go beyond that. We are actually going beyond that right now, because it is not a process in time, like how other activities happen in the world. The very fact that we are negating time and being in this present moment itself is a movement from form to formless. If you are unable to control, or if the thoughts are overpowering you, it might help to watch the breath without trying to control the breath. Just the mere observation will slow it down. And since breathing is directly connected to thinking, it slows your mind too. Closing the eyes may help some, but for others it may be a distraction in terms of getting carried away by their thoughts. It's an invitation to wander about. And for some others, the body will relax too much and take you to a state of sleep. If that happens, it is not a problem. Just open your eyes and watch the video. And if it helps you to close your eyes, close your eyes and just listen. Both the words as well as the gap between the words. And don't get carried away by the mind's attempt to understand what is happening, because that is another trap. Any kind of understanding is a limitation. The real is Vakyamanatita. It's beyond any thought or word. The mind can never grasp the reality. It can only step aside, and then you are what you are, always, what you always were. You find that in the Bible, Jesus saying, I am that I am. He doesn't say, I am that I was or will be. He's referring to this eternal present, eternal presence. Even in our day-to-day life, try to bring this aspect of the formless because religion is not a compartmentalized thing. It's a wholesome transformation. When you respond to people or events or situations rather than reacting, when you respond from the state of being rather than from being a person, then there is less conflict in our lives. The very word person comes from the Greek persona, which means mask. So it is just a mask, which may be helpful in worldly transactions, but the human condition right now is that we take it beyond that and try to judge and understand everything using this limited tool called the mind or thinking. Mind can only give you a fragmented picture of the reality. What we are doing right now, sitting here, is defragmenting or allowing the reality to be as it is, without naming or judging. You will notice that as your rate of thinking reduces, you enjoy or sense a different type of relaxation. You are alert at the same time relaxed. Unlike when you are tired, where you are no longer alert, or when you take alcohol or anything that pulls you down to a stage of evolution which you have passed long ago. They try to reduce the number of thoughts in the mind by taking alcohol. All they do is they regress back to the animal state. Animals are happy because they don't have much thoughts. We are not going there. We are going beyond thought. Of course, words are limited. Any going or any movement happens in time, and we are not going anywhere. It is eternally present. We are just recognizing instead of ignoring. Ignorance, some wise man described it as ignoring the reality is ignorance. And being this space need not be restricted to while you are sitting. Even while you deal with the world, you need not mentally go out completely. Try to feel this sense of presence, like how you are feeling between the words. Try to do the same while interacting with people. Give them space to be themselves, rather than judging them and putting them into compartments or even events, like you are stuck in a traffic jam, or if it suddenly rains. It is just an event that happens. It's a fact. Now the mind comes back and says it shouldn't have happened, or it judges and puts a label as horrible. Restraining from labeling can help bring in this dimension in our daily lives. As Khalil Gibran would put it, your daily life is your temple and religion. When you enter it, take with you your all. In other words, we can say, your level of consciousness while dealing with the world and situations is where you are in spiritual evolution. So we can pay attention, and that attention itself will ensure that we do not regress to a state of unconscious behavior. In the scriptures they say, pramado vai mrityuh, inadvertence. In Buddhism they say apramatto bhava, that we have to be apramatta, that is, attentive. Inadvertence is death. Swami Turiyananda, another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, would say, even prarabdha, those events which are supposed to happen because of our previous karma, even prarabdha cannot torment a man who is spiritually alert. And what is meant by this alertness is what we are doing right now. This sense of being, the light of awareness. And why it is a light? Because it is the nature of light to shine and reveal something. Similarly, this light of awareness is shining and revealing all the objects like thoughts, images, etc. All the sensory perceptions happen because of this light of awareness. And we are that light. So when we sit like this, without judgment, without trying to understand, we are closer to our real nature. And this is not a dead, inactive, inert state. It is a highly intense dimension. I wouldn't call it a state because states come and go, but this is constant. Physically, some amount of time has passed, yet we are still in the present moment and will always be. If any external noise suddenly distracts you, just observe it. You are the attention in which that is happening. That way you do not take part and get carried away. We are being detached without trying to be so. This is real renunciation. If we have to renounce something, we have to possess something. Like Buddha said, if I do not accept the gift, then there is no question of giving it up. In our daily life, when we deal with it from this dimension, that is from a state of being, neutral, alert, non-judgmental, taking things as it comes, then a higher power works through us. You find that external situations also align. And if there is no solution, or if there is nothing we can do about a problem, we just accept it. Not mentally saying, oh, this is what is happening right now and I have to accept it. No. Without any mental commentary, you just recognize that that is the fact of that moment. And you align yourself completely without any story, without allowing the mind to make a story out of it. Then the universal intelligence works through you. Even now it works, but we put obstacles in the form of our own fancies, and limited, fragmented thinking can create obstacles and delay our expressing reality in its fullest extent, to the fullest extent. Let us conclude this session with chanting of Om. Om is the primordial sound which stands for the entire manifested universe. Even in other scriptures we find, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So Om is not just a, but it points beyond. The fourth, the Turiya state, although again the words can be misleading. It is not a state. It is this presence in which all the other states come and go. Notice the sound fading into silence. Form merges in formlessness. May all be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be blissful. May all realize that we are the children of immortal bliss. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.